She was like, you don't want it to be that. It would be better if it was the cancer. So I'm just like, oh, well damn. Don't hear that often. It's probably better if it's the cancer. But it turns out I do have that thing. And it's called fibrosing mediastinitis. And the reason why she said that, it wasn't to be harsh or callous, it's because there's no research on fibrosing mediastinitis, because it is that rare that only a few hundred people have it. When only a few hundred people have something, there isn't an investment into research, into treatment, or into cures. Cancer has all that. So catching things at a certain point, although it's not great, something can be done about it. Essentially with FM, you're just kind of trying things to see if they work for you. It's all anecdotal. This worked for this person, this didn't work for this person. Let's see if it works for me. And just trying things out to make it so that the progress slows down. So just to kind of give you a quick idea of what FM is, it is essentially, there is a fibroid mass in my chest, in my mediastinum area, and it's growing. So essentially what had been happening over the years is it had gone from something very tiny, it's still rather small, but just where it is the issue. It had begun to block off some of my airway, which is why it seemed as though I had asthma. After it started to block off the airway some, causing the wheezing, that's when it actually laid on some of the veins and arteries from my lungs. So it had just made that into a memory foam pillow, laid on it, rest, and was chilling. So to the point that while I was getting sicker and felt harder to walk up steps and do things, is because my blood supply was being cut off and I wasn't being oxygenated correctly. So I was correct in knowing something was off with my body. It was just unfortunate that I hadn't been listened to previously, and that it turned out to be towards the end of those arteries closing. So with all the time that the diagnosis was taking, my arteries completely closed off, or veins, I can't remember which one it is, completely closed off. So the blood is not flowing from the right side of my lungs to get oxygenated and back up through my heart into my brain. So this is why I need this extra oxygen, because part of my blood supply is not getting the proper oxygen that it's supposed to before it goes to my brain. So once I figured that out, I was fine with wearing the oxygen. I just don't care. Who cares? I don't care, because I need to wear it so I can live my whole life. And the only problem is that thing is heavy, so I don't want to wear it all the time. But I don't mind. Like I said, when I know why something happens, I'm more able and ready to deal with it. So at that point, they know what it is. It's making sense. This is why I've had high blood pressure for a while. That didn't make sense with my other numbers, because it may have been hereditary somewhat, but this was exacerbating it. My blood supply was being cut off, and so it brought pressure back, additional pressure, to make it so that my regular blood pressure would go up, and then that I would have pulmonary hypertension. So essentially, while I was still in the hospital, they decided to start me on a high dose steroids regimen. So I was taking a lot of steroids, and that started to make me feel better. essentially I had kind of been treating myself, well, not really treating myself, but when I had issues and go to urgent care or the doctor, they'd give me steroids. So it had been unknowingly helping the situation. So high dose steroids. If you remember, I said I lost about 100 pounds. Yeah, so that went away. Because high dose steroids not only make you get an appetite, which any kind of regimen of steroids does, you just gain weight, you retain water. My face was a moon. It's not like I have the slimmest face, but it was a moon. I'll try to insert pictures if, you know, maybe. It was terrible. I looked like a whole different person, but I was like, okay, if this is making me feel better, this is what it has to be. My doctor, I went back to see him after about a month, and he looked at me and he was like, we have to get you off those steroids immediately. Not really immediately, because I have to taper off, and I'm still taking steroids, just a lot lower doses. But he was like, you're having every bad reaction possible to steroids. I had acne all over my face. I had gained 30 or 40 pounds within the first month. Retaining water, everything. I also had where I couldn't sleep, which steroids do, but it also comes with a sense of euphoria, which is very strange. You are sleep deprived because you can't sleep. Your body won't sleep, but you're happy. You're completely fine. Steroids are a gift and a curse. I'll just say that. Yeah. So they also gave me another medicine that's actually used for transplant patients called Celcept, that they started to use in conjunction with the steroids so that I can ease down off of those. So that was where my regimen was at the end of 2014 and also into 2015, 2016, and on to now. I'm kind of on the same regimen. So how have things been since that?